ask you guys.
I might pull a Randolph and start randomly walking around.
Yeah, just randomly walk around, work on stuff. Make sure you pull out power tools though, because if you're gonna do a Randolph, you got to have like some kind of like drill or saw or something that makes noise.
It always turns into show and tell when I'm around because I have so much crap in this room, just in this room alone. So it gets annoying after a while because it is like show and tell.
Hello to the 3 people in the chat that are watching. One of them might be Will. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always Will.
Will as usual.
I have, you know what it is? I have multiple screens. So I'll put it up on the screen and forget that I had it there.
Oh. Yeah, that happens. So anyway, hello everybody.
I'll have to drop in like 45 minutes because I'll have to put my oldest to bed.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. You can I mean, you could ditch me anytime you want, sweet. It's fine. Anyway, so Sam should be coming in here in a little bit. They just had something to deal with. And yeah, I don't know who else is going to show up. I have my will as usual, so I'm good.
And I know, but I'm
calling the pot. Sam is the pot calling the kettle black there.
I'm like,
what? What do you mean?
Sam says, hello, nerds.
Oh, right. I know. Yeah, Sam's a total nerd. I love Sam, though. Sam cracks me up. And the voice and the intelligence level just goes so well together.
I'm like really itchy right now, so I don't know if I should just do an impromptu Vegas trip and then come back tomorrow morning, or if I should just go. You know what? I should go to the shops in Ventura tomorrow and stop being a wiener about it.
How far are you from Vegas? I forgot.
Well, let's get the Alexa.
Didn't you say 3.5 hours?
How far is Las Vegas from Los Angeles?
Can you repeat?
Alexa, how far is Los Angeles from Las Vegas?
From Las Vegas, Los Angeles is 270.3 miles away by car.
Okay, so you have
4.5 hours.
Well, you have to take 45 miles off of that.
Oh, because of where you are. Right? That's true, yeah.
Well, it's 35, but I add an extra 10 because I live like it's cheating. I go through my town and I go on the freeway that takes you straight to Vegas, that takes you on the way to Mojave, and then from Mojave I go straight to Vegas. So it's like where I live, because a lot of the time when they say in LA it takes 4 hours, because it takes you 45 minutes to an hour just to get outside of the city.
Yeah.
Because once you get on the highway, you're cooking and booking and you're driving fast like everybody else.
I was gonna say I always automatically do it as 60 miles per hour in my head, but only because when you're a truck driver and you're governed at like I was governed at 70, but because of like going into cities and speed limit zones and construction, you usually average between 55 and 60 miles per hour. If you're governed at 70, you'll average 60 miles per hour for your entire trip. I automatically just do that in my head. But yeah, you can go way faster on the highways out there.
I fly. It's light speed. And the cool thing is like the highway patrol, they honor California state law. So they hide, but they have to have at least 2 lights on.
Oh, okay. So you can see them from far
mile away because you're in the middle of the desert and you see lights on and a light on top of the car. Like you just have to know what you're looking for.
That's great. I've lived in a lot of places that the cops will hide. They do that shit in Florida. Well, they did when I lived in Orlando years and years ago. They used to hide everywhere, and then you'd come around a stop sign. You'd come around the stop sign because, you'd like fly through a stop sign, and then there's like a tree and there's a motorcycle cop hidden behind it. It's bullshit, man. I got a couple of tickets for motorcycle cops in Orlando because of that, because I didn't see them in time.
Me too. They hide here in plain sight, and the Sheriff Brown blends in with the desert.
Fact.
And you can't even yell at them because they'll sit on their bikes like they'll basically sit somewhere where they know you can't slow down. So it's like at the point of no return where they'll just bust you. I'm a grown ass man I know I drive fast. So when I get pulled over, I'm like, here's my license. Just please give me the ticket. I'm not going to test it. I drive like an idiot. I've actually made friends
Oh.
that way. There was one cop who was like, "Are you joking?" I was like, "Just give me the ticket, man. Like, let's not lie to each other. I know I was speeding. Let's not get political. Just give me the effing ticket."
You know, I do that too. Like I'm just last time I got caught and I got caught in 2003 for speeding. Or maybe 4. And then I haven't had a speeding ticket since, and I was in Ohio and I was going to work and it's like 4:30 or 4:45 in the morning. There is nobody on the road except there was one cop.
Yeah.
And he was a rookie working the overnight shift. He's brand new. I mean, his ears were wet, like dripping. He was so brand new. And so he pulled me over and I was like, I have a CDL. Please don't ticket me. Please don't ticket me. So he said, well, you were speeding twice, which he was wrong about one of them because actually he said I was speeding 3 times, but he was wrong about one of them. I said, no, actually right back there, it changes to 40. And I was only going like 42. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It does. And I'm like, yeah, you're so new. You don't even know where speed limit signs are in your town yet. And so he had me on 2 speedings, going about 7 to 8 over the speed limit, which really isn't that bad. Come on. But what he got me on good was I rolled through one stop sign and then the last stop sign because it teed onto a road and you could see like a half a mile in either direction. There was just nothing there. Aww. You didn't make that. That's too cute. You're muted.
7.
I'm going to unmute you. There
Say
you
hi.
go.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi. What a cutie. Hey, Ox came in. That's good. Math Pig and Sandy. Yeah, so anyways, I was like, just please don't ticket me. I said, I have a CDL and I'll be in so much trouble. Like, I don't want it to be on my DAC report. So he went back to his car and came back and he gave me 1 ticket for rolling through the stop sign, which was the least of all the tickets. And it only cost me like $100.
Still a dickhead move.
No, I mean, he was being pretty nice, man. He could have like really rang me over the coals.
In the state of California, it's basically under 8, you're straight. Over 9, you're mine. So if you're going like 7 to 8 miles and over, they really don't care.
Yeah, most places don't. Yeah,
people are driving like even today on the highway. I was doing 85 when I took my son down to one of my favorite thrift stores. I was doing 85, and when I got off the freeway, I realized there was a cop behind me.
And he didn't even stop you. Yeah.
I'm going 25 miles over the speed limit, and the cop is using me as a wedge because I'm like cutting through traffic. Didn't even realize it until I pulled over.
The rest of that story, because his kid appeared and I got distracted. So there was a T intersection, and you could, like I said, you could see a half mile in either direction. And dude, I didn't even really slow down much. I took that corner at that stop sign. I was going like 30 something. And the cop, and he came back with the ticket, right? And I signed it and he handed it to me. He goes, you know, I got to say, now, mind you, this is from a cop where they do training. They do driving training. Said to me, I don't know how you went around that stop sign that fast. I've never seen anybody do that in my life. And I said, oh, dude, that was nothing. I'm a truck driver. And I was driving a little Toyota CHR. And it's like one of those little hatchback SUV crossover deals. And that sucker is front wheel drive. I just peeled right around that corner like nothing. I said, that's nothing, dude. I said, I'm a truck driver. I can do so much. And he said, no, stop. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to have to follow you around. I said, no, I don't do it. But I could.
I am so free. I'm excited.
Wow, Math Pig.
I'm excited because I'm free.
You be careful with that baby, young man. She's adorable. I still think she's not yours. She's too cute. But whatever. You know, DNA, blah, blah, blah. So, Sweet, how you been? You said you were waiting on some computer parts because you're...
Yes, I'm waiting on my Ryzen 7, my motherboard, pretty much everything except for the only thing I've received so far is my power supply.
Oh, well, that's good. That's something.
New webcam. Yeah, that's about it. It's the weekend. Hooray.
Oh, I'm excited.
Now that's
my
funny.
kid got
Got some
picked up
yard
early.
work done, fully domesticated.
You don't do that during the week? I hung all my grapevines during the week so I could act stupid on the weekends. I went weeding. I did all the things in my backyard that you're supposed to do as an adult. I have pot back there, so it's really improved my backyard. Like all of a sudden, I care.
It's so nice and green and pretty back there now.
I'm taking care of my backyard. I am taking care of it. No,
So,
but
Ox, I have to tell
party.
you because I know you guys won't believe this, or maybe some of you will. But I went and visited my brother one time, Richard, and he lived down the road from my sister. Really, we were going over to see my sisters when she had cancer. We were trying to spend more time with the boys and get to know them better because we hadn't seen them very much in a few years. So he was like, I was like, all right, come on. And I said, we're taking my car. And he goes, no, man, we're going to take my motorcycle. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, the highway through there is 75 miles an hour. And the last time I looked at the speedometer and had the balls to, we were going 108. And when I said to him, well, I know we went 108 that day, he said, yeah, okay, it was 108. But he had a nice 1500 Yamaha Cruiser. It was nice and heavy, So I
don't know how. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how I know this, but I know an S-Line Audi will do about 134 before the governor kicks in.
Well, yeah,
I don't remember how.
It's on Google.
How I know that? Yeah, sure. Google. I looked it up. Sure. But yeah, my S-Line can go fast.
No, Math Pig, you're right. She is definitely your kid. His kid loves hard rock and shit. She'll be like in the car, like, yeah. It's great. I love kids that love good music.
My kid will stop what he's doing every time Chris Cornell is singing.
Really?
Yep. Audio Slave, Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, no matter what. It stops what he does, sits down, and watches.
Math Pig said his fastest is his current car. He's had up to 128. It gets twitchy after 120. What kind of car? I can't remember. What brand of car is that, Math Pig? Put that make a model up. I can't remember. I used to know that. I know that his license plate says 666 on it. Hello, the Blasphemy Club used to be.
Oh, this is I own a ranch and I work on a ranch, and this is Don't Run Me Over Orange. I wear this when I'm like in the creek or like in a tree or something, where just in case if I fall, they can spot me from a helicopter,
Oh, that's good.
If I'm stuck in a canyon or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was digging through the back of my house in my garage, quote unquote, and I found a tote back there, and it had shirts in it. And I was like, oh, dude, here's all my summer shirts. I'm glad I found them. Because I didn't have them last summer, and I have like all kinds of, a couple tank tops. But I have a lot of T-shirts I've made into muscle shirts. I've cut the sleeves off of, and so I pulled it out, and half of it is safety yellow from when I worked at the farm. Because everything I had to wear was yellow, so I had yellow tank tops, yellow T-shirts, yellow muscle shirts. Yeah.
So I don't know what a Ford Mondeo is because I'm sure that's some European version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's like way better, nicer.
It's a Ford
version
Focus.
Of a it's a way better, nicer version of a Taurus. Like
it's
better motor,
Focus.
Nicer interior, blah blah blah.
All
From
it is a Ford Focus.
I think 2007.
Oh no, it's a Ford Contour in North
198.
They sell those in certain places. So like, because I lived in Sinaloa for a while, Ford has all kinds of crazy cars. Those assholes should have never claimed bankruptcy. Did they sweep?
Oh yeah, that's bullshit.
Did they ever?
Ford, when are you talking? They've
when the bubble burst. When the bubble burst, and like recently, when Obama bailed out all the automotive.
Yeah, I think Ford actually had to.
They own Australia and Mexico. Like they have the cars.
Well, they had to, as a result of that, they had to spin out and sell to Tata the Land Rover / Jaguar division, and that was basically part of their restructuring deal. Is that they lost that, which I find hilarious now because the Queen's car is now built by the Indians.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, big time.
Wait, you said the Queen's car is now built by the Indians?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they built Jags.
It's built in India.
Yeah.
Land Rover and Jaguar are built by Tata in India.
Oh, see, I didn't know. I can't afford that shit. I've never even looked at those vehicles.
That's like Harley too, because everyone wolfed when Harley got bought out by a Japanese company. And like, tell you the honest truth, I like their newer bikes.
They didn't get bought out because they're publicly traded.
Well, what? Basically, I know a bunch of people who won't buy Harleys anymore because they're not considered American owned.
Well, here's the thing. Harley's American, but most of their parts come from overseas. Really, they're assembled in America.
Oh, if you have a Ford?
Every fucking vehicle out there. I don't give a shit what you own.
I'm
own
a
Chevy.
Ford guy.
And if you buy Ford or Chevy, that's like American-made trucks. But if you look under the hood, shit will say like Taiwan
Mazda.
on it.
No, it says Mazda.
There's only like 3 companies where that's not true.
And the 3 companies are?
Audi, BMW, and Mercedes.
But they're all Ford.
My old Ford.
But they're all assembled and made. All the parts and everything are made in Germany.
I had a Ranger.
Well, no. I said in the U.S.
Yeah.
As far as
but
US,
I know what you're saying, but it's one.
Yeah,
of those
no, you're right. Those are the only 3 I know of, and yeah, they make the parts and manufacture them, build them, and everything in Germany.
Ford trucks.
But over here, it's not like that.
And that damn 2.0 turbocharged 2.0 that Audi makes is probably the best engine on the market. So if you can find a derivative of that, no matter what company it's sold from, that 2.0 will last you forever.
Really?
Yeah, I think everybody that used to have a V6 now has an inline 4 2-liter.
I know someone that drives an Audi that never drives it, that owns an Audi that never drives it.
Randy, I'll have you know that I used to have an old pickup truck that was just like that. Took me forever to get up to speed. I mean, it ran like a top. It just didn't have a lot of power. I never like towed anything in it.
When I lived in Arizona, I had a friend who had a Dodge Caravan that was such a POS. You just had to turn the ignition. No key, nothing. You literally just turn the ignition.
Yes, I have heard about that. I actually met a cop here where I live, and I went outside for a cigarette, and I was like cleaning up the parking lot and shit at work. And he got off his motorcycle, and I said, "Well, that's nice." And he said, "Well, actually, this is the loaner. This doesn't have a number on it or anything. Mine's at the shop getting numbers put on it because they had to rebuild it." And that's what he said. That's why he said they had to rebuild it. And this was just a few months ago. But yeah, it's a high-speed wobble. Yep. So he was driving around. Oh, yours is a diesel. Nice.
You know what? Freedom is a funny thing because it's been a long time since I've heard the call. Like I said, I'm surprised they haven't sent a hooker and a bellhop to my house to ask me if I'm okay from Las Vegas. And it's been a long time since I've had the call, but I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to be an adult, and I'm going to go to bed early. I'm just going to get really baked, go to bed early, and go shopping like I would on any other normal Saturday. Because I'm having delusions of grandeur because I have the ability to go do it.
Right.
But as you get older, you're like, you know why? It's because I haven't done it in a year and a half. So I miss like the Euro place out in the middle of nowhere, you know.
There's another dad joke for you. Will. I'm not going to write that one down. That one's not good enough. Sorry, Randy. We're not keeping that one.
I had a friend who lived in Dubai, and he was one of the bitchiest human beings ever because he came back to America and was like, I have to pay for my gas. What is this? Like in Dubai, they get a lot of a lot of stuff is free if you're a citizen.
when you have the oil wells right there, it helps. You know, we could totally do that here and not even hurt ourselves.
No, it's they actually have a certain problem over there that the refineries aren't over there. So Iran actually has a very expensive gas, even though they mine drill a whole bunch of gas.
Yeah,
because they can't refine it because they don't have refineries.
Oh.
They have to transport it to somebody else that has refineries. So yeah.
I've seen your
Anyway,
car
I
before.
need to go
Matt.
watch
I just
a
don't
movie
remember
with
the
the.
make and model. I know it's black with tinted ass windows and 666 on the license plate.
I need to
Hold
go
on.
watch a movie with my oldest, so I will be back later.
Okay. Thanks, sweet.
He's into Star Wars. We're watching Return of the Jedi. So
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Such a good age to do it too.
oh yeah.
Enjoy. You're stuck with me, Will. Just me and you, man.
I know I was gonna only stick around for a minute.
Cadence.
Too. I have completely ripped this room apart because I'm rearranging everything. Because I got a third storage unit. So there's some stuff that needs to go into storage. I'm selling certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. So
It's one of those things. The more space you have, you end up doing more with it.
every time I bring up Twitter, it fucking makes me mad.
I was like, B, you're
I don't know what just
your facial expression is your picture stuck. I was like, what's going on?
so weird, man.
No, the same thing happens here with the wind. Same thing. It's not loading though. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's Matt Pig's car. Cool shit.
Have you been having a problem with Twitter lately?
Let me get rid of this. I haven't. I've heard other people bitching about it though.
Yay. All right, I'm gonna continue smoking my joint. I was doing all kinds of stuff.
Hello there.
How are you?
Anyway.
I'm doing pretty good.
How are you, Sam?
I am doing pretty good. Today has been a day I can pretend was productive.
Well, I mean, I
'Cause
guess
I
that's better
actually-
than nothing.
I actually got round to doing some writing.
Oh, good.
I wrote a couple of pages about the language we use around gender and the problems with it.
Right. Yeah, everything is gender specific. We were talking about that last night. You go into a store, and I said, why isn't it just like feminine, masculine? Why is it going to be girls or guys? You know, men's section, women's section. You know when I walk in the women's section? When I need new bras. That's the only time. It's the only thing I can't find in the men's section that I wear.
See, I think that the thing for me around gender is that I find it funny quite how frequently people who are not trans are really confused when I say things like my gender is 4 or 5 old books in a stack in a study.
I think also people they plateau and they don't progress. So you reach a certain age, because I've noticed people of a certain age, especially in my family, because I have siblings now that are 61. I have a cousin who's like 57, and they come to me and they ask me these questions. I told you about my cousin who walked up to me and was like, "What's non-binary? What does that mean?" And we ended up having a 45-minute conversation where I literally directed my cousin to Jen, and I was like, "Talk to Jen."
At least they're willing to ask questions, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's true. A lot of people they don't ask, they just assume, and they are biased and all that shit.
Well,
wait till I've opened a cider. I have a story for you two.
The problem is also it's fear. It honestly is fear. People are scared of each other, and we live by these imaginary cis het rules. And when you're out of that realm, it scares the hell out of people.
Yeah. It does. They don't understand it. And, I mean, I get it. I don't understand heterosexuals. I don't know why a woman would want to have sex with a guy.
See, but security in general pisses people off. When you're
Oh, yeah.
secure with yourself, it doesn't matter if what you identify as or anything. If you're secure with yourself, people will hate you.
Oh, Randy, what are we going to do with you? No, it's true. It's true. And I, honestly, not to toot my own horn, but that's the problem I have at a lot of places I work. Because I'm so honest and upfront, and I'll look you dead in the eye and tell you how I feel. And I'm just, I'm not like I'm confrontational. I just will talk to people, and they get like freaked out by it or something.
I think
I'm weirdly direct, and so when my dad passed, I took over his job. Yeah. And there's people that look at me like, who the F is this young buck to tell me anything? But I just tell them, like, get it done. But they're used to me being so jokey and pulling up smoking J's in my car and stuff, But when it comes to work, I'm like, just get it done, and I won't ruin your day.
Robert, you know better than that. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys.
I find it really funny quite how much it seems to bother people that I will say, oh, I'm pagan, or oh, I'm not non-binary, and not preface it with like a couple of minutes of apology.
Why should?
Because like I've noticed that a lot of people who are pagan or who are non-binary or who are outside of what's considered normal will preface explaining their identity with, now I know this is a bit weird and it's okay if it takes a bit of time, and I'll just turn around and be like, fuck it, I burn a candle and leave offerings to Hermes every other week.
Exactly.
Right. I just don't understand why people have to be, we've talked about this 500 times. I just don't understand why people have to be so judgy. Just mind your own fucking business. I don't remember who said it first, but some famous person said, if you don't like gay people, don't date and marry them.
George Carlin.
Was it George? Figures it was so. George Carlin.
Yeah, it's like, if you oppose to gay marriage, don't have one.
Yeah, don't get married to a gay. That's right.
Yeah, I love. I think I saw an ad from like the 60s or some shit that was just like, it was someone going, they're trying to legalize gay marriage, but I don't want to have to divorce and become a lesbian. It's like, so don't.
People say that shit?
It was like a TV advert.
Oh my God.
People are so bizarre to me.
Good job, Sandy.
I run into that problem. What Harmonica Man is saying, I don't even consider it a younger generation thing, because I always say, who taught the younger generation? But when you're more direct, there are certain people who just can't take it nowadays. And it's not just people under 30. There's people under 30 where I'm like, then why did you come to work here?
Yeah, the good news is that these younger generations are born into all of this being a thing. So it's not shocking to them.
The one thing I'm going to say, though, that's impressive, being LGBTQIA++, is the younger generation cares. In my day, you had to know how to fight. But
you're damn straight.
The younger generation,
no, you're not.
So I hold out like, a shimmer of hope.
See, I think that why I have some hope for kind of my generation is that my straight friend from high school, he very much is of the opinion that he does not understand me being non-binary, but he doesn't have to. He'll use my fucking pronouns and get on with it.
Yeah, the bottom line is it really doesn't affect anybody except for the person who decides they're non-binary or trans or whatever, and their immediate loved ones and friends. It doesn't affect anybody else. Quit worrying about whether somebody has a fucking dick or a vagina or both or neither one.
I don't. Very true. Oh,
everybody needs to chill.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Have I told you guys about the conversation that I had with my nana just after I got my second shot?
Yes.
Yes, you told me. I mean, you're welcome to retell it in case other people didn't hear.
Basically, it turns out my nana's because I knew my nana was very strongly Christian. Turns out she's a pre-supper, and I expressed to her that I am not Christian, and she spent the next kind of hour-ish swapping between "you're going to hell" and "but the Bible." And like my nana doesn't believe in evolution. My nana believes certain fun conspiracy theories, like the EU is a front for Nazi Germany.
What?
Right.
She believes that the world was literally created in 6 days.
Okay, so even someone such as myself who could care less, my apologetics could smash that because I do not like young Earth creationists.
Yeah, and so like my nana
so
did not like the fact that I could explain shit.
That's so scary.
And then she told me that they found evidence that Jesus resurrected, and I'm like, what evidence? Show me anything that isn't in the Bible that directly shows.
There's no evidence for any of it.
Okay,
None of it.
so I hate to come in like Godzilla in this argument, but it really doesn't matter because none of his prophecies came true, so it doesn't matter. None of it. How many people are still, I can't say without laughing, and I apologize if this is your belief, but how many people are still waiting for Jesus right now?
Oh God, millions, man. Millions. Millions thinking any day now.
Waiting.
Arguably billions at this point.
Yes. And so I'm gonna be nice when I say this. Like, that's on the deity scale, that's if I was getting no return on an investment, I'm done with the investment,
Right.
So
and you're right, they get no return. I'm
trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice,
here's my thing. This is what so for any of you that don't know that I do this. So people say to me, well, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe in God. And I say, hold on, let me get this straight. You have an all-loving God, right? And they're like, yes, I do. They start standing up straighter. And then I say, well, and you have an all-forgiving God.
Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, so I think I'm going to have to drop.
Oh, okay. Well, try to come back in if you want.
You sound fine.
Yeah, you're fine on our end. So anyway, I say, so you have an all-forgiving God? And they're like, yes, I do. And I say, so at the end of the day, if I'm wrong and I get brought up to heaven and I say, I'm sorry, then they're going to let me in anyways because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And they go, oh. And then they try to change the subject because they have no answer for it. Because I'm right. And even my brother and I have discussed this. And he says, well, yeah, absolutely. That's when you're supposed to. It doesn't matter what he will tell you. It doesn't matter what we're doing right now. Please. And that when that day comes, which of course I don't really believe that's going to happen, but what he says, when that day comes, that we'll all be accepted. All we have to do is go, I want to come up. I was wrong. This place is falling apart and I didn't know you existed.
I always,
so the point is, why would I spend my fucking life going to church and reading the Bible and doing Bible study and blah, 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 blah.
Same.
If at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Nope. And see, that's my thing. And I really, and I didn't have an answer until years ago, when Ken Ham opened the Ark. Okay. He challenged Bill Nye to a debate and they were walking around the Ark, and I'll never forget. Ken Ham asked Bill Nye, he's like, what if this and that and blah, 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 blah. He flat out asked him, what if you're wrong? Do you know what Bill Nye said? He looked me in the eye and he said, that would be great. That would be awesome. because he knows that he really hasn't done anything in his life, hell, warranting of hell. So he's like, awesome, even though I don't believe in it,
Right.
The problem.
I mean, do I hope that my brother is right? Fuck yeah, I do. Because what he says heaven is sounds better than death to me. I can tell you that. So if he's right, yeah, I would love for him to be right. I mean, I don't believe it, but I would love for him to be right. Not the Christian view, but my brother's view.
Vanta Blue, I love that joke so much. That's a dad. I tell it all the time.
The native asks, if I don't know, could I go to hell? No. So why tell me?
Then why'd you tell me? He's like,
yeah, then why'd you tell me?
Why'd you tell me, dummy? It's true though. And one of my things, and that's why I try not to waste my life on hatred. I judge people. I try not to. I'm a human being, but I try not to waste my life. I went to church every Sunday until I got confirmed. And for people who don't know, in America, if you get confirmed, like I went to CCD classes through the public school. Well, it wasn't through the public school system, it was through my church. But long story short, I got confirmed at like 17 years old. So I went to church every day. Oh, I got my boots on.
Hi, Otangelo.
I got my boots on, Otangelo.
How are you today? Thank you for dropping by. I mean, like I said, I don't care. He can come by and listen anytime he wants. We're just bullshitting, it's fine.
But my whole point is,
as long as he's polite, I don't care.
I went every Sunday when I was a kid to the point where I could tell them what mass it was going to be.
It's funny, huh? Because we weren't even talking about religion. We went on to religion, talked about it for like 4 or 5 minutes, and Otangelo appeared, and my brother. What does this say?
Me. I'm
consideration of the existence of heaven being perfect for us. The only justification of us being here would be we suffer so a larger society will not have to later. Which, because we suffer, so we gain empathy and sympathy, is what my brother says. So it's not that God wants us to suffer; He wants us to learn lessons.
I still. Me, I'm a tough sell. I believe in nothing.
Otangelo, I am great. I am starting a new job this week. I'm getting out from underneath of the thumb of the semi-ignorant supervisor I have. And going into work at a medical office where I want to be. So, and it's like a real job with Benny's. So I am doing great. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing good.
Oh, I forgot I got this.
Cadence, Sage 666 summons V, talking about heaven, summons Angelo and Richard.
Stay.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, so I mean, that's the one thing that my brother has always said that I said that makes more sense than anything is the Bible being prophetic. Because there is no proof or evidence of anything happening prior to.
Yeah, but
nothing is there. So if it's prophetic and it starts, well, now mind you, Will, he says it starts at end times. The entire Bible is about end times. So it hasn't even started yet.
I have like.
So if he's correct, then that makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Would you sacrifice one of your legs so that 200
others could have perfectly working legs where if you did not, they could not?
Huh. No, I'm from Earth. I live on planet Earth. No.
And he knows how I'd answer that.
I'd walk past them every day and be like, sorry.
I would do it.
Nope.
I would do it.
No, I'm a realist. You don't want to see me at the end of the world. I'm a hardcore realist. You don't want to see me in the apocalypse. We had this conversation again last night.
Oh. Thank you, Otangelo. That was very nice of you. I appreciate that, buddy. Anyways, we're not going to keep talking about religion because that's not what we do here. We talk about 500 million other things. But if my brother would like to come in, the link's in there. We could talk about other stuff. If you got religion stuff to talk about somewhere
I think
else. I
Jen,
understand, and I love you anyways.
I think Jen might. I've been. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on B stream," and she's like, "All right."
Well, that would be
all
cool because you and I have talked about everything. What else do we have left to talk about, Will?
right." What else is going on? Do you know? I'm gonna tell you. Like, so let's talk about tumbleweeds. The reason I'm anti-tumbleweed is because I live in a place that gets set on fire once a year.
Right.
And I'm not kidding you, B. Ever since last year's fires, I can't breathe right.
Really?
It took 5 years off my life. Last year's fires between Oregon.
Well, with your asthma, I bet it did.
Between Oregon, hey Randy, and
Hi, buddy.
and all the wildfires we had here. The wildfires, Oregon has rich, lush brush. So when that got set on fire, it blacked out our sky for 3 days. And
Yes.
I'm 900. I'm 900 miles away from that, and it blacked out our skies.
I want to see the other side of the Rockies so bad, and all that woodland and everything out there. That'd be just so.
I'm going to
great.
tell you, there's some amazing places out there, and you can go to. There's some lakes. There's some lakes out on the west side of like Washington, Oregon, or something like that. Is it Cascadia?
Yes,
the Cascadia Mountains, and those
Yeah,
lakes
I've
are amazing
heard of
and
that, yep.
beautiful. And there's like a sandy kind of area around it too. It's not all
And
like
also,
dirt
there's
woods like you'd think it would be.
there's the gorge.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
Hello.
Glad to
Hello.
see you.
Okay, I forgot to turn off the thing again. I'll be back in a sec.
always a
Always
technical
something.
problem. Always.
Technical
The tea is
problem.
brewing.
Hey, you know what happened to me before you came on earlier, Will? I went to come on and my mic and shit wouldn't work, and I thought my headset died because remember it was making that clicking sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a bitch. So I pulled out a set of
Yeah.
headphones like you usually use, like the old Apple headphones, and I plugged them in and nothing. And I was like, I'll be back, sweet. And I restarted my computer and it works fine now. Just, I don't know.
Huh.
the
I don't know
lovely.
what website is grabbing a hold of the control of my mic, but somewhere I'm
Weird.
going is, and it's not porn. So,
Hi,
Hey,
Sam.
Hey guys.
Tangelo, if you want to come in, you can, but we're not going to be talking about religion all night. But if you want to come on and bullshit and talk crap with this, come on. I welcome
Yeah.
everybody.
oh, Jen,
My rule is don't be a douche.
Yeah, me too.
Jen, you
and
wanna
everybody's welcome. That's not a douche.
you wanna be shocked? I'm kid free,
You're kid free.
and
Woo!
it's early. I know, and it's early.
Yeah.
It is early. They usually
I
don't pick
shouldn't
them
be
up
here
this
then,
early.
B.
You look like you're about to go to space.
No, this is I had to. This is Don't Run Me Over Orange.
Ah,
When I'm working in trees or the creek or something, I took Isaiah on a trip today to the ranch, and then we went, and then I took him shopping to a thrift store because there was so much traffic on the freeway. I had an anxiety attack, and I was like, I'm gonna pull over here because I'm not used to people anymore.
Oh, it was crowded for
This
the
is
first
probably
time.
going to sound a little bit racist, but you look like you're about to break out into Swing Low, Sweet Chariot and Swing a Sledgehammer.
Do you know my dad's middle name? Do you know my dad's middle name
Hey,
was
man.
kind of racist by today's standards? My dad's name, his middle name was John Henry.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, he was named
Wow.
after the fair, the folktale.
Hey, you want to hear something funny?
I'd have
Speaking
been
of,
proud of that.
this, I'm going to call this accidental racism. So, my ex-husband's dad, his name was Tom, and he had a cabin out in the woods, and he started to have reunions there. But nobody knew. Oh yeah, and nobody knew where it was yet. So his brothers and sisters were coming in with their kids, and the kids were driving separately, and they hadn't been there. So he put a sign out by the road that said Uncle Tom's Cabin. And I was like, dude. And I said to John, my ex-husband, I said, he needs to do something about that. And he was like,
Somebody-
oh my God. I didn't even see it. So we get to the cabin and he's like, Dad, you can't do that. So he went down with a saw and cut the uncle off and just stuck the sign back up so it said Tom's Cabin. We were like, dude, that is not
Somebody would have
he's
walked
gonna
into
kill
that
you.
with a lighter.
Somebody's gonna kill your
Hi,
ass.
Otangelo.
We cannot hear you. Are muted.
Oh, so yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
How are
hello,
ya?
guys? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Good.
Oh, Richard's in the chat. Why is your brother not in here?
I don't know. Probably because we're not going to talk about religion. He wants to talk about religion, but it's fine. You know what? It's funny because I brought him in the other night, and he started talking to Tobin about religion. And Bill left, and somebody else left, and then half the chat left, and he said, "I'm not coming in again. I'm driving away your viewers."
No, I say this in peace. My mind is made up. So I've reached a certain point where that ad nauseum of like I've heard this a gajillion times.
Yeah, but see, that's the reason I don't mind talking to him, because he doesn't say what all the other Christians say. That's why it's interesting to me.
If you want a tip, atheists are tired of the same old rhetoric on Tangelo. So you should like learn juggling or like fire juggling. Something.
Yeah, juggle like the torches.
See, my trick is just the See, my trick is just the accent. I'm a theist, but I just have the accent and they let me in.
I'm just saying. I'm saying this with love. I'm just saying with nothing but love. You know. I'm bored.
Actually,
I am
Sam,
on the
we're
same
just
side of atheism
getting
as
to
well.
know you better, and then we're gonna come cut your hair in your sleep. You're gonna think, "Hey, my friends are here," and we're gonna be like, "Nope,
this is fine."
You know, I have a picture of my brother. I should take it and put my face on it. That would be hilarious. Thank you for the idea.
I'm like reverse Samson. I have to grow my hair out so that I don't become too strong, because every time I cut it, I get stronger.
Don't ever cut your hair.
No.
Oh my God, that's been going on for the last like 20 years. I started cutting my hair because I came out.
I actually had my shortest haircut in my life today. I had never my hair so short as today.
Really?
Did you?
It looks
I would
good.
have got my hair cut too. Watch.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that looks
there
great.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me brush my hair.
Once I'm a bit more kind
brush
of
your hair,
comfortable
Will.
with myself, I may shave the side of my head, just hair.
So I grew up in the suburb in the 90s, and
mine's getting long too.
Girls would do that.
By tomorrow,
they would shave completely.
I'll be
Sorry,
ZZ
Randy.
Top.
You look like ZZ Top by tomorrow.
That's all right.
You catch up with my brother in one day, I'll give you $100.
I'm calling Dennis.
No, I'm gonna cut it off.
Well, no, that's why I'm giving the
Sorry, Will,
$100
go
to buy the rights to it, so I can make money off of him. So, Otangelo, Robert X wants to know if you have any hobbies besides religion.
Well, I would say that being a Christian is not a hobby; it is my identity, and so I live it 24/7. It is what I am.
But
okay,
do
so
you
do you have any hobbies?
like I sew. It's something I love to do, and like when I'm angry, sad, or mad, like I always have weird projects going on. Like I
take wood outside and cut it with my saw when I'm mad. How you guys feel about that?
Yeah, now with COVID, I don't expose myself too much to crowds and so forth. So now I have more home life. But my aim is in the future to buy a sailboat, a catamaran, and go sailing.
Heck yeah!
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
That's
awesome. I do not have the the proper hand movements to go sailing, so I envy you that.
Oh, if you can catch some seabirds or whales or dolphins or something, you have to take videos of them and put them on your channel, or send them out to folks. That'd be great.
Yeah, there are many sail YouTube channels. I have actually on Facebook a group sailing YouTube channels. And you can join, and then you will see there are thousands thousands of sailboats out there which are making videos and put them online on YouTube. You can check them out. So you will see people from all over the world making these kind of videos. But that's my aim as well, to do that.
Do you go fishing at all?
No.
I live in Southern California,
love
and
fishing.
we go deep. I used to. I probably won't for a while because of COVID. To tell you the honest truth, but once every 2 years, I'd go deep sea fishing, and I loved it. Just being out.
Dude, I want to do that I want to go deep sea fishing so bad.
But 2 years
Bring a really
ago-
big dude
Yeah,
with
me
me in
too.
case I get tired. Here, pull on that.
Oh yeah.
Bring me with you, and you can have some attractor for the fish because I guarantee I'll vomit over the side.
So I'm gonna dangle you over the side of the boat to get fish.
Nice.
No, I say I'll vomit over the side
So
of the
I'll
boat.
tell you.
I do not have.
Jed's gonna help
Like
us
Burley or
chum.
something like that.
I do not have the patience for fishing. I need to be doing something with my hands.
See, my thing
Well,
is
You could fish and masturbate at the same time.
the
This is an
particular.
option.
The
Just be
particular
careful with the hook. That's all I'm saying.
Just be careful.
I'm not going to say the company's
I don't
name,
know
but
if I
they're
wanna hear
420 friendly. So they'll let you like smoke pot on the boat. They have big screen
Really?
TVs. Yeah, because they know how
Well,
boring
you're in
fishing is.
California, though. It's legal everywhere there. Of course, they'd be friendly.
Yeah, but they know how boring fishing is. So if you're not into it, going on a charter fishing trip would be one of the most boring things because you're stuck on this tiny boat. And it's a huge boat, but even after a while, like 90 feet, 100 feet, it starts getting real small after a while.
Now, see, I feel like in terms of fishing, I could easily do fishing if I had someone else with me, but that would involve convincing one of my friends to go fishing with me. And my friends all have shorter attention
Well,
spans
Sam.
than me. I swear I don't have any IRL friends that aren't ADHD.
See, you know what, though?
You need-
Honestly, what I do is I find a spot where there's nobody, and I might take somebody with me, and sometimes I might just go by, and I don't really care if I catch fish. It's not about catching fish to me. It's about just being out in nature in a quiet area and relaxing and just listening to the birds and the squirrels run around and whatever else. And that's that. I don't
That's
give
why
a
they
shit.
call it
Because if I
fishing,
catch
not
fish,
catching.
I'm gonna throw them back if I don't have anybody with me to clean.
That's how.
Because
so
if I clean
Pete,
them, I can't eat them.
You literally
They'll gross
described
me out.
how I learned how to surf. I would go as far north as I could where there was no people. I dropped my board a million effing times. But, eventually one day I stood up on my board,
Yeah.
Now, see, my going out in the woods activity is hiking or finding somewhere to sit and just sitting there.
I do that too.
How is that giving your hand something to do?
Oh, it's easy. I just bring something with me, either like a fidget toy or just some shiny rocks.
Shiny rocks.
There you go.
I bring a bartender.
Go down to the pond and throw rocks at the ducks. No, feed the ducks. Sorry.
No, don't throw rocks at the ducks. They didn't do anything. They
Oh,
just
I
shit
could-
a lot.
The thing is, I
They're
could go
awful.
into one of the towns near me and bring a bunch of bread, and the pigeons would probably recognize me because my granddad used to go and feed them every day, and I used to go with him sometimes. But it was to the point where the pigeons would come and sit on his head to get food.
I'm laughing
Aw.
because
They
along
trusted
You guys ever want to? Anybody wants to come to Northern Michigan or whatever? I got friends who run fishing charters out on Lake Michigan for salmon and pike and sturgeon. Pretty fun.
Nice.
do you have
Catch a
walleye?
4-foot
Do you
fish,
have,
that's fine.
do you have walleye
Yes.
out there?
Oh yeah, they have
Where's
totally have
walleye?
walleye.
Yep,
I
Where's
think
all
the
kinds of
It's
stuff.
a fish.
the closest I've come to fishing is crabbing, and when I say crabbing, I mean trying to crab while supervising 4 small children crabbing.
Do you, we have crab boxes. We have crab boxes that we tie
You
rope
need to go and see a doctor.
and just throw them in the ocean.
We have ointments here.
Yeah, if
Oh,
you've
I
got a
live-
crabby box, you need to see a doctor.
I live in LA. You'd be surprised how fast you can catch crabs in LA.
Dude, we used to go down at night.
No.
We grab a bunch of beer and go down.
I feel
I used to live in Virginia, and there was the canals that went through, and they had the bridges that, they lifted up to get the bigger boats through and everything. Of course, it wasn't anything too huge. There was like some kind of a 50-foot limit or 40-foot limit or something like that on the boats. But anyways, so everywhere there was a bridge, they had all those big pylons down in the water, and we'd go out there with a flashlight and a fishing net and just slap the pylon around the crab, and they would they push off and they get stuck in the net, and you just bring them up.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
totally illegal.
Here too.
No, but that's what we would do. And in
Question
like
for
3
Otangelo.
hours, we'd have one of those big rolling coolers full of crab meat.
People started doing it so much here in LA. They just made it legal because they couldn't. They couldn't stop us all, as the saying goes. You know.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
see,
Hey,
I-
Otangelo, I
you
wanted
said
to ask you.
catamaran
Go ahead, Randy.
sailing kind of thing. Wouldn't you prefer like a big houseboat or something like that? Then you can do just
No,
about
my-
anything and it's a
no,
little bit
no.
more comfortable.
No, my idea is to sail around the world. So a houseboat won't do that.
Oh wow!
You need a sailboat. You need
But
a
you know, I'm
sailboat.
telling you, Randy, I don't know if you've been down in some of those yachts. They're amazing, man. Just a regular sailboat
Yeah.
that's a yacht. Like you can get like a 40 or 50 footer or something, 30 footer or something smaller. And the inside of those, they'll sleep like 6 people, and they have a full galley. And I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They have more amenities than I
Yeah,
know.
I've been in a lot of
crazy.
boats.
pretty fancy.
I like having a kayak. I'm a city person. I like putting around a lake.
See, I live near a lake, but I never go sailing on it or anything. I will just walk around it in the dark because then I can avoid people.
Oh, I'm writing that down, Ox. I am writing that down.
Not those kind of crabs, the kind you eat, not the kind you dispose of with a comb. And by the way, if you
Yuck.
guys shave, you wouldn't have that problem anyways. Because they live in your hair. So just shave it off, be nice to your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, shave that shit off, and you don't have to worry about crabs anyways.
So funny story, semi not funny story. Years ago when I got divorced from my ex-wife, they wanted hair follicle samples from both of us. But some weird law is that they can't take the hair from your eyebrows. It was some
You're like,
some weird law.
here you go.
No, but the judge was like, the judge looked at me and was like, I'm not trying to be personal. And I was like, I'm hairless. In court, I said that. Everybody started laughing. I was like, I'm like a hairless chinchilla. The judge basically told me to shut the F up. They
Why?
were not, it was not entertaining. Because
What's the law about?
they wanted to drug test us, and your hair does not lie. Your hair tells a story.
Yeah. So when you, for example,
Oh.
smoke pot,
Okay.
some of it gets stuck in the hair follicles, and because your hair is actually dead matter, it keeps a trace of it in your hair as it's growing, so you can see when the last time someone had weed is if you look very carefully, like
Or
a
any other drug
microscope
for
or
that
whatever.
matter.
Any
pretty
other
much.
drug. And
Oh
the-
yeah, any drug, just pot for
I'm
example.
still safe.
You know what's funny? This is what I did last time I had a hair follicle test. So I went to this job and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna send you down for a drug test." I was like, "Sure, no problem," you know. And so I get there and the lady's like, "Oh, it's a hair follicle test." And man, I had like flushed my system out overnight of the pot I was smoking back then, you know, and all this shit. So I was like, "Oh shit!" Well, I had just got my hair cut. You see how short my hair is.
yeah.
So they could only so anybody that doesn't know, the longer the hair is they clip off, the farther back they can go.
Mm-hmm. It quite
So
literally
my
tells a
hair
story.
just got cut off and it was all new, freshly
Mhm.
dead hair. And she put that shit in there and I passed.
You know
Like,
what?
I should
have-
not
have
have
a ha-
passed that. Nothing
Have a
I mean,
haircut before you
I've
drink.
done some stupid shit when I was younger. Nothing came up because my hair was too short.
So if you guys ever want to talk about a mystery, when I was a kid, I worked for Walmart. I was like 17, 18. And I did shrooms the night before my my drug test. And I don't know if Walmart's standards were that low back then or if I passed the drug test, but I went in, took the drug test the next day and passed the drug test and got hired at Walmart.
See,
Dude, that's where I was that's where I did the
I
hair follicle
don't
test for.
actually.
See,
I
because
don't
of people
actually
like
know
me.
of any.
Oh, wait a minute.
company-
That happened twice.
Sorry,
Hold on.
Sam.
Let me say this real quick, Sam.
Sorry.
Actually, it was twice because the first time it happened, the first time I had a hair follicle, no, second time, I had done a piss test for the company I was with because I ripped out some airlines and shit off of a trailer. Oops. My boss was yelling at me to hurry. But anyway, so they sent me down for a drug test, and I drank a whole bunch of water, and they were like, well, it's diluted. So they were going to fire me. My boss was like, no. She's a CDL driver for this company. She's held to federal regulations state that if it comes up diluted one time, it could be off one time or come up false negative or whatever, and they have to give you another chance, but it's hair follicle. So I went up there, and she cut as much hair off as she could off the top of my head, and I passed it. I had my job still. I was nervous as fuck, but the Walmart thing did make me feel better.
See,
I was like, I've done this once before.
I find it really, really bizarre, the concept of being drug tested for a job interview.
Oh, in America, everybody's on drugs. This country buys 74% of the illegal and legal drugs. So just imagine how many people are in this country. We're at 328 million. We buy more drugs than any other country in the world.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see,
huge. We have a huge population.
Here's a fun stat for you. So cannabis is illegal in the UK, including for medicinal use. The UK is the biggest producer of medicinal cannabis on the planet.
What the Amsterdam's like, thanks for the good prices, guys.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They're just doing it. They're just sending out the money off it.
Bad drugs.
And so it's like, okay, so either you're lying to us or you're selling other people shit that don't work.
Most jobs in Australia you wouldn't get drug tested for unless you're operating heavy machinery. They might drug test you to make sure that you weren't on drugs because that's dangerous shit.
Really? You get drug tested?
So many drugs going around my area. 10 out of every 9 people can't even count around here.
Like here in California, you get drug tested if you want to work at Domino's, McDonald's. Like if you want to work at Burger King, you get drug tested. They do not play around here. Which
that's weird.
Quite honestly, and Sam, I'll tell you why. Because meth has, with other drugs, has destroyed this country. I don't want someone all methed out, at the gas station or
everyone does
methed out at the gas station.
That's weird to me. Now, granted, I can't be asked with anything stronger than pot. Fuck that shit.
And if you think about it, too,
what you see at gas stations is kids walking around sniffing petrol.
What?
Yeah.
They do that there? Oh,
Yeah.
we got way better shit than that. Nobody sniffs gas around here.
Yeah,
No,
that happens.
just
it's
that's one of
harder
those.
to get drugs on the street here.
Huffing went out in the 80s. Huffing went out long. If I caught a huffer, I would talk to him. I'd sit him down and be like, what's wrong? Do you need help?
See, I think the thing here is that, like, before I was comfortable even having cannabis, I knew 4 different people I could buy cocaine off.
Okay, so I've always wanted to ask someone from the UK, and I always forget. That's another thing. I saw a statistic that like 70% of adults in your country are on I call it yayo because I watch too many movies, are on cocaine. Is that true?
No asterisk.
So is it prevalent? Is it prevalent?
Yes.
Sam.
I know.
Yeah, there's so much cocaine consumed. You'd think it was 70%, but I suspect the percentage is lower. But people are having more.
Well, keep in mind, I watch the BBC, Sky News, and Channel 4.
Mind you, granted, depending where you look, if you went into Rochdale, you might find 70% of people there doing coke.
Well, I can't, as an American, I can't talk trash. Like I said, meth has destroyed this country. So I'll never talk trash about someone else's country.
Actually, crack came first.
Yeah.
And it used to be, okay, so it used to be crack cocaine. And then it turned into, they quit using cocaine in it and we're just using household chemicals. And then it turned into just crack. And then meth came along and everybody decided meth was better. So, I used to live in an area that was prominent with crackheads, and now they're all meth heads instead. Well, the ones that lived. Hi, Orge.
Hey.
I know somebody that was given $1 million plumbing company and that would rather smoke meth and stand on the street corner by my house. And so it's sad. It's really sad. Every time I see him, I want to cry because his dad is a really hardworking guy and like he owns his own plumbing company and they make good money because no one wants to do that job.
That's
I saw a documentary today,
would.
and in Mexico, where most meth is produced, there is a city nearby, Sinaloa, and their half of the population is all on meth. So it's a huge problem, and it's a worldwide problem.
Well, of course, they can get it right there. It's like you go into Texas, by the refineries to get gas. It's the cheapest gas in the United States.
Yeah,
They don't have to pay to transport it.
More people are going to have it where it's produced because less transport costs.
I have family that's from Leon, Sinaloa.
Which, while I'm all for letting people make their own decisions in terms of drugs, like I think all drugs should be legal, even if it's advised not to have them. But even
make them safer, and they're going to do them anyway.
Okay, so Spain and Portugal legalized drugs. Let's tell the truth. Their crime went down, but they also have zombie zones. So you have to. It needs to be more regulated, is what I'm trying to say. So it was a success in one way, but they also have zones where I wouldn't go with
the way I would like for it to be done. In an ideal world, would be to have like a blanket like regulation in terms of like an age limit on buying it, but because you're gonna have things like zombie zones, have rules that say if you have a zombie zone and have some criteria that would quantify that. At that point, the government can kind of maybe set up a clinic there to help people get clean. Because statistically speaking, if people get cleaner drugs, 90% of them in any given area are likely to stop consuming.
Look at Spice.
Could someone define zombie zone for me, please?
So a zombie zone.
Wait a minute. What were you saying, Orge?
Could someone define zombie zone, please?
That's what I was responding to, B. So,
sorry, I didn't
as a zombie zone is an area where enough of the population are on drugs that the area stops being productive.
Quite literally, where people are just like on the streets, needle and arm. Because I'm all for talking about the legalization, but we need to tell the real story of what's going on just so we can improve upon it. It's not to trash anyone. It's to say, hey, if we do legalize drugs, let's not do this.
Right.
In the UK, don't they have places where people can do heroin? Sam, am I wrong? Like safe spaces?
That is not the UK, but it is somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
I watch the documentaries; they all blend into each other after a while.
Now there is.
Let's just be honest. We're in the U.S. We don't know shit about where things are divided over there. We don't know. We suck.
I've been there, and I still don't know shit.
My stepdad is an ex-paramedic, and so I've heard some stories or whatever of like the panic when a paramedic loses the morphine key.
Oh wow.
Because they have to keep morphine in a safe, and then the paramedics have to keep the keys on their person. But if they're dealing with an emergency and they drop the key, there's then a panic to find the key.
Santi's saying Belgium.
He said, I think.
They do it in Seattle, I want to say as well. It's just when I lived in Oregon, there was fentanyl going around killing people. So, there's like
it would make drugs safer and cheaper, and it would reduce the amount of people who use drugs, and it would allow governments to tax them. It also kneecaps a lot of cartels, so like I don't see the downside of legalizing drugs beyond a lot of stereotypical like mainstream Christians having a big issue with it being legalized in the first place.
Well, a lot of it's propaganda, and fear. People hear things and they don't know the real side of it, and they
isn't that just every description of everybody that's bigoted in any way, shape, or form? You summarize the whole thing. I do want to say, Theo, that not where I live, but the big city that's like an hour and change away from me, you can walk in any given drugstore and they will give you clean needles just so you won't end up with like AIDS or Hep or something. They hand out in the big cities. Most of the big cities I've been in, they do hand out clean needles for free.
They do.
Even a lot of the church charities will do it too now, because they'd rather they'd rather facilitate than have disease go rampant.
Right, because then it
like
goes
how
everywhere.
in the UK, any sexual health clinic will give you condoms for free, and most people don't realize this. So, like, I have said to various friends at various points, like, I will like give you a condom this time because I carry one in my bag just in case. But like, go to a sex health clinic, maybe get an STI check just in case. Pick up a few condoms. Just do it.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah, no, I've lived in oh my god, like 6 major cities, I think. And every single one of them, I would see like kids coming out of the clinics, like 17, 18-year-old kids, 16-year-old kids with bags. They'll give you a bag of condoms. Like they'll give you enough that so you give them out to your friends. They give you extra on purpose. So you can always get free condoms. There's no excuse for that shit.
They will give you enough that you can have a party
you want to have a balloon fight. You just go and get yourself some free condoms. And
yes, absolutely. You can have a water balloon fight with condoms. Condoms. They will break.
Just ask them to give you the ones that aren't pre-lubricated.
Right. Can I get the ones without lube? Thanks.
And to what Santa said in the chat
at the park,
the condom, just in case, is very occasionally for me, but usually for my friends. Because like one of my
Sam.
one of my friends will sometimes just be like, "Oh, hey," and then the name I go by in real life, are just like, "Oh, do you happen to have such a thing on you?" And half the time I do, be it like painkillers or a condom or something.
Right.
So here in LA, they give you enough condoms to give to your friends, your auntie, your uncle, the 14 Johns you're going to do that night. Enough for a month and a half.
Wow.
For everybody.
No,
yes.
when you said bags, it gave me flashbacks. Like if you go to a clinic anywhere in LA, no matter what medicine they give you a giant brown bag of condoms.
Oh.
Because
that's what I was saying. Like that's what I've seen is the brown paper bags.
Yeah. They promote safe sex here.
I think I might need to I think for my best mate's birthday, I might need to make sure that I hand them a thing of condoms because there's gonna be some stuff happening because we've planned something that's it's not an orgy in theory.
So take it from an expert. If you have to explain it, it's an orgy. You're saying if it takes
we're
more
not
than 3
intending
words
for it to become a sex party.
Sorry,
but
because the thing is that it's going to be a bunch of 18 to 20-year-olds in sat in a room playing spin the bottle, truth or dare, Cards Against Humanity, strip poker.
I love Cards Against Humanity. It's so messed up and sick.
I've never even heard of that one.
I would just stand up and be like, "Let's just have sex."
Oh, you'd love it, Randy. With your sense of humor and your dark sense of humor, you'd love Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, Cards Against Humanity is great. It's have you ever played Quiplash?
But
Quiplash is free at the moment.
Yes, Dave.
It is.
Yes, I am, Dave.
Is it free?
I really don't
put that on a
get
billboard.
Into games
apparently.
Why don't we do a Quiplash night?
Okay, so I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why
I don't want to play. If you want, B, I've got it right here.
I'll tell you why I don't want to play. I'll tell you why. Because it reminds me of why of when the pandemic first started. That's all everyone did.
That is true. All anybody ever did.
I was really depressed. I didn't like honestly, because of Quiplash and other things, I didn't watch YouTube for like almost a month and a half. Like 2 months. I was like, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of y'all. I'm tired of it.
You know, I met a lot of people.
And then in
through
the second
Quiplash and
round,
shit,
everyone
though.
started playing that one where you throw the astronaut out the airlock.
Yeah, the aliens.
So
what the
guys,
hell was the name of that game?
I haven't played that one either.
It's aliens, but I don't know. There's another word in there.
No, it has. They're constantly trying to sell it to me on all my computers.
Space aliens
I
or
actually
something?
downloaded it to play it on a stream.
Oh,
with,
what is it?
With
Yeah,
Navadia.
so the basis of the
Are you
game.
talking about Among Us?
Among Us.
Yes.
Yes, Among
just
Us.
quick to interrupt
What-
my
what's that?
meeting,
Oh
but,
no. Sorry, I was talking.
thank you for having me at your channel, B, and have fun. Have a good night.
Well, nice to meet you, Angelo.
Thanks,
Have a good
Angelo.
day.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Hi,
Bye.
Angelo.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye,
stopping
everyone.
by, man.
Yeah.
See, now that- hold
So
on, but-
Cadence wins 1 star for
I
being the
think he was
first guest to come.
uncomfortable with
Among
conversation.
Us.
Well, because we weren't allowing him to.
I was really confused for a second there because you said aliens and it's like Among Us is spacemen.
Oh,
Yeah,
Is that what
Spaceman,
it's
it's
called,
not
Vanta?
aliens.
Click the button.
But that's why I asked on Changelo
That's
if he
fun.
has any other hobbies and stuff, because we could sit here all day and argue about religion, but like I'm not here to fight anybody. What else do
Yeah.
you do?
Oh yeah, we
See, I
can
like
talk
both.
about anything else, and it's great. Most
Yeah,
people
I
have
love-
everything in common.
Absolutely. We all live on this planet together, regardless of where you think you're going or not.
Look, if you start if we start talking religion, I'm gonna go get my trombone.
I'm over it too. See, that's the thing, though. That's my thing. I'm over all these.
I could play that for you, Randy.
Somebody needs to create a new apologetic I haven't heard on both sides. On both sides, I've heard all apologetics. That's my thing.
I think
Create
I've only ever
something
got my
new.
trombone out on. This sounds really lewd, doesn't it?
You know what?
On one
Jeff,
stream.
Here we are.
What do you think about Monday night around like 9 Eastern? You guys want to do like a game stream, and we'll skip a quality night, make it into a game night.
We could do all the.
Was like a tabletop simulator or what?
Yeah. Don't just play things like Quiplash. Let's find all different.
No.
types of
I
games.
want to play that alien game, that click the button game that Vanta and I were talking about.
Oh, okay.
So for people that don't know, the basis of it is everybody jumps in, right? Just like you would with Quiplash. And then they pick certain people in the group and they say, you're an alien. Don't tell anybody.
Awesome.
And so then the people that aren't aliens are trying to figure out who the aliens are.
So
And
it's
at
like,
the same time, you're trying to help them guide towards somebody who's not an alien.
yeah.
There's
because
a
you're
card
an alien,
game.
you're trying to
There's a
win.
card
Sort of
game
like
that
Murder
is called
Mystery Night.
Werewolf.
Yeah, so
Werewolf. I was about to say we used
hold
to play.
on. So
Werewolf.
so then you do certain there's certain tasks you have people do, and you pick people
See,
to
most
figure out
of
if they're
these
aliens or
online
not,
games,
and then you throw them in the airlock and you get rid of them, and everybody votes. Yes, we're going to get rid of these 3 people or whatever. And if one
most
of them
these
is a
online
human,
games started
the
out
other
as card
alien's
games
full of humans, and the aliens
that
win.
yeah.
So
that is very similar to Werewolf. We used to play. We played Werewolf every lunchtime for 2 years straight
Werewolf.
at high school.
It's the same basic game, yeah.
It is the
It's the
same
same basic.
game.
I haven't heard of it either, Randy.
it's fun
There's
though.
1,000 variants of the
See,
theme.
we used to play Werewolf with just a moderator instead of cards because none of us could be asked buying them.
You know what game I think
They
is
call that
stupid?
Mafia
We
if
used
you
to
now.
play
play
with
is that
pitchforks and
t-shirt
torches.
game. Sorry,
what was that
Randy.
be?
Randy, say that again.
Sorry. I said we used to play Werewolf with pitchforks and torches. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
You're not even that damn old. You're full of shit. No, I said that t-shirt game that people play that's in that same pack with like Quiplash. That is the stupidest game.
I am not familiar.
What t-shirt?
I have
You
no idea
literally
what
just
you're
make
talking about.
t-shirts. Like you come up with stupid sayings and then you pick certain designs or whatever and you stick words together or whatever. But it's just stupid. I don't even understand why everybody thinks it's so much fun. It's so monotonous. Like by the time you
That's
get done
weird.
playing it once, you're done.
Fair. That's bizarre. I don't know what to think about that.
It's just weird. People vote on the shirts, you know. But then if you have like a group of people in there, everybody votes for the person that they like the most, like their boyfriend's in the stream with them or whatever.
Oh yeah,
So
everyone
you know
picks
who's gonna win
favorites.
anyway. I'm like, why am I even playing this?
I have noticed a lot of people do that, and it really bugs me because it's like when I'm playing a game, whatever emotional connection I have to anyone is suspended.
Right. Yeah, it should be.
Mhm.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Push the button. Jackbox 6. Thank you, Vanta. Appreciate that.
So yeah,
that's pretty fun.
I have previously when playing like Werewolf or something, stabbed my partner in the back just to move suspicion away from me.
Hey, it's a game, man. Shit's
good to
cutthroat.
know.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, the only problem
I
with
try
that was when I
acting
had
skills.
a partner who had processing issues, and they would a part of their processing issues was struggling with mouth brain filter, and so like if we were playing a game and they got out and then they realized it was me who got them out, they would really struggle to not say.
Right. Yeah, I agree, Vanta. Like, if you have a group of people that are really close and you all know the same inside jokes and shit, then yeah. But if you're an outsider, then you won't get half the shit, anyways. It's true. It is true.
Oh, that still works. That's cool.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I haven't made set my streams for next week, and I'll just set it for a game night, and then whoever. I mean, I don't have any of that shit, so somebody will have to come like Jen that has it. But
I have Quiplash, but I mean, you can play Werewolf without the online bit. You can set it up to play it.
Oh,
I do not know if I will be around on Monday, but if I am, and that's when you do the game night, then I shall try and show up.
So when you say
Thank you,
t-shirt
Sam.
game,
You're always good about that.
When you say t-shirt game, is this some elaborate hoax for a company to steal snarky sayings off of smart people?
Pretty much.
Possibly, yes.
But I would do that.
I had thought of that.
If I had the capital, I would be like, here, play this game because I'm going to steal every one of your sayings.
Yeah, it's like it's a survey, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's just like have it as like a tiny bit in the middle of the terms and conditions.
Yeah,
It's kind of clever, really. When you think about it.
It was my first thought when you said that. I was like, ooh,
That sucks.
that's just oh, that stinks. It's just a good way to rip people off. Like, here, come play this game. We're gonna steal everything that you tell us, and then sell it back to you. I'm sorry. I told
At a
Sam,
really high markup.
I'm a capitalist, so I think
my dad had that at one point where he entered a competition, and then and he didn't win the competition or anything. But the next month, he saw the company advertising like a prototype of the thing he designed.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, you're not even using the design that won, but you're stealing this design.
So NASA did that as well, and Rocketdyne. I won't say they stole stuff, but like my dad has 19 different patents from satellites that are still in space right now, and he didn't get a dime from. He got money only from one, and the rest are considered property of the United States of America.
I was about to say it's NASA, so they
That
get away with
reminds
it.
me. I got to go out this weekend and get some Tang.
like the drink or Pudtang.
Wear a mask.
Tang.
There you go. The answer to that was yes.
Seriously, I couldn't get
When we
laid
talked about
on A.
Pintang earlier,
There you go. We'll do it Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern because my new job is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays or something like that. They're open until 6.
Yeah, and y'all don't
That's
show
why I
up.
got to change all my times.
And no one shows up for the equality stream.
Huh?
And I'm being cheap. No one shows up for the equality stream except for me. So
That's not.
I know.
Sweet's back.
yeah, one message me this morning. He said, "Come and save me. There's only me and B on the stream. Well, there was you, B, and Randy, and that was it." And I'm like, "Hey, why is there so few people here?"
You know, the thing is that everybody comes in late all the time. Like, I'll always have one or two people that are consistent, like Will and Sam or Will and Kitty or whatever. But everybody else comes in late, so I think starting an hour later will probably work out good for everybody.
Yeah, they'll probably still show up late.
The thing is that when you tell
but only
people
15 minutes and not 45. So
I was gonna say, if you tell everyone half an hour earlier than you intend,
they'll all be on time.
I eat dinner around the same time every day.
Bye,
and
Cadence.
so I appreciate anything after 5 o'clock because I have
what's the schedule?
I have an elementary school aged kid, you know, so I eat early, eat dinner early, do all this stuff early. So I appreciate the later starts.
Yeah. See, I don't really have a schedule. Will I eat dinner at 4 p.m? Will I eat dinner at midnight? Who the fuck knows?
You know, Mice, there's a lot to unpack in that statement. We could have a debate on that statement right there.
Was it Dilly Juice?
It was juice, all right.
Simply Secular Dave brought
From a
us
straw, from a big, thick straw.
So I'm gonna say it. Now that the restrictions are being taken back a little bit, and we're gonna spread Corona around each other again. Everybody's on the streets of LA again, and it's LA. It's too people-y again. It's right back to where we were 2 years
That's
ago.
why I live where I live, because a lot of places are too people-y.
I am just waiting another couple of days until the UK has a big surge in COVID cases.
It's
we,
not like
we already did the who lives in the smallest town thing, didn't we, B?
Yeah, Jenny won.
The thing that really pisses me off, is that our numbers show that lockdowns work. Our first lockdown, it worked. The second time the sheriff didn't enforce it, our numbers are through the roof. People are dying left and right.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel sorry for all these people living in these large urban population areas. These small towns are better, aren't they, B?
Oh my God! Let me tell you. You know what it is, really? Honestly, it's not that I mind people.
I love
person.
people.
I don't mind people. What I mind is the crime and the noise and people everywhere making noise and yelling and talking. And I want peace and quiet. Like, it's so quiet where I live. And honestly, while we're talking about populations, I don't live in the city. The community I live in is less than 1,000 people. It's probably like 500 max in this area. So it's really quiet, you know, and apparently somebody's needy.
I would say it was really quiet here all the time, except there's a train line 100 meters that way.
No, there's nothing out here.
Oh, see, I live in a relatively small area, given it's the UK and we're crammed in like sardines. But I live in a relatively like small area, but like I want to move in with a few friends at some point so that, you know, I can actually afford to not be living with either of my parents. But that's going to have to be in the city, and I'm going to hate the noise so much.
Yeah.
It took me.
I can't do it, dude. I won't sleep.
Like,
it's so quiet, I get my ears hurt sometimes.
I'm going to have to sleep wearing these.
Yeah.
You guys would like it at my place then. I got a 5-mile radius of maybe a dozen people in that radius, and the rest are wild animals.
That sounds frankly ideal, so long as the 12 people weren't dicks.
Oh, no, they're fine. They'll come by on the
that.
tractor and hand you a beer and say, let's go to a barn party. You know, my cousin's single, come over and dance and whatever, you know. And,
I don't know that I could take
last time I was set up.
I don't know that I could take the 35-second delay on internet, though.
Oh, with Randy, you mean?
Yeah. I know. It's annoying.
So yeah, he apologizes all the time, but yeah, he just cuts over everybody because he thinks there's a pause.
I think, you know, so as someone who's lived in the woods and the city, there's upside and downside to both. I loved living in the middle of nowhere where I could go wander around in the woods. But I'm going to tell you, when I lived in the middle of Los Angeles, no one knew who I was. So it was basically the same thing. When I walk around this town, everyone knows who I am. You know, it's, oh, how's your sister? I saw your nephew. My nephew plays for Cal. So now everybody wants to talk about that when I see him. everybody, oh, your nephew, I saw him, and like, I miss being in LA where no one knew who I was. I'd walk past every single person, just people mind their own business.
My dad
has.
Yeah,
my
same
dad
here.
is
Sweet. I only know
Nah.
one neighbor's name, and I'm good with that. We wave at each other.
I live in a small bedroom community that is now a suburb of Omaha, which is 1 million people. So big enough city, but I live on the outskirts enough that it's quiet.
Yeah.
My dad has predicted that after a couple of months of living in the city, I'm probably going to want to live in the woods somewhere and just live like on the edge of the woods where I'm close enough to the town.
It also depends on what.
Better be
city.
careful there, Sam. Some wolves might confuse you with Little Red Riding Hood.
That'd be fine. I'll just invite the wolf in for dinner. It'll just be Simba.
Sam's like, what's the wolf look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is he in sheep's clothing?
Like a sexy wolf or she wolf, he wolf?
See,
A
the
non-binary wolf? Like, we need answers.
Yeah, it's like, well, that entirely depends on the wolf. And also, if it's Fenrir, that's fine. I'm fine with this.
Fenrir?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't Fenrir supposed to be a prick?
That entirely depends on your interpretation. If by a prick you mean after being imprisoned he got a bit grumpy, yes.
No, yeah. Well, he's supposed to eat Odin and stuff like that. Doesn't Fenrir have a bunch of the legends say that Fenrir? Oh yeah, well yeah, I'd bite him too.
I'd rather have Sif.
So what happened with Fenrir initially was basically the gods played a game with him where they used to try and trap him, and then at one point they trapped him and then refused to let him go, so he bit one of their hands off. And then when he was eventually let out, he was not pleased because it had been however many thousands of years, and he attacked them. So,
Yeah, I'd be pissed too, man. That's a long time to be imprisoned.
Wasn't Fenrir supposed to have sons? And the legends say that's where a lot of the werewolf legends came from. Fenrir had a bunch of kids.
Fenrir has a bunch of offspring, yeah. Though it's not clear who with, and the two kind of best known offspring, according to I think Sancta Dinorum, maybe. Basically, the wolves that eat the sun and the moon.
Oh, yeah. There's kind of cults around in the woods here that they write in runic and do whatever, think that they're part of that whole thing.
Not even the Nordic people wrote runic.
I think the thing is that the concept of Ragnarok is widely considered by scholars to be probably a Christian creation anyway. So, like, within heathenry, that's not necessarily a thing in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, and you actually don't want to end up in what is it? Not Sovereign that's Skyrim.
Valhalla.
What's the warrior afterlife in Valhalla? Yeah, you actually don't want to end up in Valhalla.
Valhalla. See, here's the thing: is that the concept of Valhalla or Valhalla is actually not a place that anyone goes in the afterlife, according to certain sources, because what it is a warrior's land soul goes to Valhalla.
And it's not a very fun place.
Because there's a multi-part soul, and basically the conception of a ghost is someone who hasn't been buried properly in the Norse understanding, as far as we can tell. And so, like, the rest of their soul would carry on, but their land soul wouldn't.
Interesting.
Huh. That's interesting. Top. Do they still have orgies in Valhalla?
Souls, because for a second there, I was totally like, "What the fuck?"
No, every day they get resurrected and they go out and they fight a big battle in Valhalla. That's
Yep. And
God,
the idea behind it is it basically
Awful.
the idea behind it is it basically keep, as best I understand it, because I'm not heathen, but having spoken to like heathen reconstructionists who have degrees in history who've studied this shit, basically my best understanding of it is that it is in order to keep the land souls busy. They do that, and then there are other afterlives for other land souls. So if you die by drowning, there is a separate afterlife for people who've drowned, and there is a separate afterlife for people who are buried in the family home and stuff like that. And those are all afterlives for the land soul. There might be a third part of the soul, but then the consciousness part of the soul, the bit that's considered you, so to speak, goes to hell or Helheim. Which is basically just supposed to be like a pleasant afterlife.
Helheim sounds like a really fancy beer that I used to drink.
So it's Elysium.
Great movie.
It's not paradise, but it's okay.
Pretty much. There is no conception of paradise there, and also I find it really funny. And this is me being a Hellenist, so the Greek stuff is my shit here.
Right.
The concept of Elysium was actually a later thing. Like, it was fairly late in the Hellenistic era that concept even came around.
I'm going to be rude and jump off people's because I have stuff I need to do and cats that are annoying me.
No worries.
Thanks for coming in, Jen. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good
Love
seeing
you guys.
again.
Thank you.
Good night.
Jen's laughing at me for a reason.
We
were talking.
Don't want to know, dude. Don't want to know.
We were talking earlier.
That's my favorite thing to do in Crusader Kings 3 is to take the one Hellenistic province left in 867 AD and have it reconquer the world and bring everyone back to being Hellenistic.
It amuses me that it amuses me strongly that I can turn around to a Christian, and while this isn't strictly true, I can turn around and say, "You do realize your religion is basically just Hellenized Judaism with a savior narrative, right?"
Well,
so you stole from my shit.
Hellenized Canaanite. Because Judaism is based on Yahwinism, and Yahwinism is just the polytheistic Canaanite religion.
Yep.
And then Yahweh himself was a warrior that was put through the process of apotheosis and deified. So,
arguably, yeah. Though there are actually, that's where it gets weird and complicated because there are several narratives followed within Canaanite polytheism. So that is like one of the narratives, yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning all kinds of shit tonight.
Yeah, me
too.
Because everybody in the Canaanite is a child of El, so that's why you have Israel, Raphael, Michael.
Oh, really?
Can
I be a son of Jor-El? Can I be a son of Jor-El?
Yeah. So that's why we say Superman is a Canaanite deity.
Awesome.
So
what the El?
The El suffix was probably originally to indicate some sort of divine connection. However, it later became to refer to of El, which then turned into of God, as in of Yahweh.
Huh.
Hence all the angel names. But it's always really fun when a Christian knows just enough to know who El is, but doesn't know enough to click that all the angels are named after this El character.
Yeah, the El the head deity, his name is Elyon.
Although there's an argument as to whether El was an actual deity or an amalgamation concept of all of the deities in the pantheon, because
El by itself just is generic God, and Elohim is the group, and then Elyon is the head deity.
Okay.
Within a certain timeline, though, I think there's evidence that that they had a bit of a swap over in terms of pantheon structure, and I don't remember who was before that, but yes. And
but as far as what's written in the Bible, Elyon is the head deity.
Oh yeah, as far as what's written in the Bible, yes.
So if you go into Isaiah, it actually in the Hebrew it mentions Elyon. Yahweh went to Elyon.
The Bible is very polytheistic, and a lot of Christians don't like that.
Yeah. Yep. It's a don't bring that up with somebody who thinks that they know what they're talking about with Christianity.
Yeah.
See, I don't know shit. I don't know shit about all that old shit. I don't know shit about Christianity, so I don't debate. I don't talk about it.
But neither do I. But when I was a kid, I got kicked out of like a church meeting. You know, when they bring all the kids together for asking how many gods do we believe in. So even as a kid, like I was like, wait a minute, 1, 2, like I so I sniffed it out early.
I find it really funny that like we can say we're not going to talk about religion, but then if we end up talking about mythology, I'm just talking about religion.
Real quick, I want to say, Theo and Robert, don't make me separate you two. Behave. They're fighting over there about whose country is better. It is pretty funny, though. Theo just said,
you know what the absolute funniest thing about going to church was?
Shit.
Thank you, Swede. Thank you.
Amen, brother.
We all suck equally.
The absolute funniest thing about going to church was farting on them hard oak pews and echoing through the church. That was funny.
Fucking Randy, man.
See, I
or
quite
going
enjoyed
in confession and doing it real loud in there.
I quite enjoyed because I have mentioned a couple of times how I would probably use the term cult adjacent for the environment I grew up in. But like as I was kind of growing up, I got quite into studying the Bible. And as I found out a bunch of bizarre things about it, I took on some quite heretical views, but I was able to argue my points better than the rest of the congregation. So they kind of let me to it. To the point where they didn't even notice when I became pagan for like a solid year and a half.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I studied to be a minister in college. That's where my stuff comes from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my undergrad was pre-seminary in finance.
Why do I know so many atheists that went through seminary?
Because
how is
so
that?
Many.
So
seminary.
Hint, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Like half the people, like
first year.
So you got 10 guys. 10 guys go through seminary. 5 become atheists.
Well, everybody.
Yeah, because
everybody
you
went through
actually
semen at one
when you
point.
walk in and take your first philosophical class, you either walk out going, "This is all bullshit," or you somehow can like get the proofs for God in your head to work. It either works or it doesn't. So when they give you like the Kalam cosmological or whatever,
right,
and all these other, and the tautological, the ontological, and all these things, it either clicks in your head or it really clicks in your head. And for me, it was this really clicks, and
like smacked you in the face kind of thing, huh?
Yeah.
And like this doesn't follow. Like I kept going, what am I missing? This doesn't follow. And
see, the reason I became a heretical Christian was because it didn't follow, but I was still obviously religious and stuff. But like the thing I think that shifted me away from any conception of what any other Christian would call Christian was it's actually an argument that gets talked about far less than it should be. It is the interpretation argument. And Ocean Kelto actually just did a good video on it. But basically it goes, if you have a God that is omniscient and omnipotent, that God cannot miscommunicate. Everything that God communicates is intentional. Therefore, either that God is a liar because he has communicated incorrectly to some people, or he does not communicate. or he does not communicate at all, in which case you're down to deism.
And it
So you
has
either
to be
have
a man
trickster
if
god-
it lies.
Has to be a man. What?
If
it lies. So it's like you either have trickster deity or deism. If you want to hold to both of those omni traits.
Whew.
Yeah, and the fact that, well, omniscience and omnipotence cannot actually, it's a contradiction because, and I get into the what color shirt are you going to wear tomorrow argument. So Sam wakes up and there are two shirts on the floor, red and blue. God, who is omniscient, knows which shirt Sam is going to pick out when they wake up in the morning. Sam cannot choose the other shirt because the omniscient would know that.
Right.
The God who is omniscient cannot be omnipotent because it can't change which shirt Sam was going to choose, because otherwise it would know it was already going to do that and therefore had already known that it was going to be the other shirt.
You can redefine omnipotence to be anything logically possible to get around that, but it is a bit cheeky.
So omniscience and omnipotence.
I just find it all a waste of my time.
To me, is you become nothing more than a cog machine of the universe, and you basically end up being Spinoza's God. It's just the universe acting in a deterministic way.
So why is defining it to account for that cheeky? Was that just an off statement, or are you trying to be serious with that statement?
Okay, so actually, the reason I say cheeky is that actually, by a lot of Christians' definition of omnipotent, I'm omnipotent. And here is why. You say to a Christian, is your God omnipotent? Yes. Okay, well, we then
can it make
am I hearing an echo
circle
from somewhere? So basically, can you make a rock you can't lift? Can you make a square circle? No. Okay, you can do anything that's logically possible. Okay, fine. Can your God lie? Well, he's omnibenevolent. He can't lie, so he can only do things within his nature. Okay, fine. I can only do things within my nature. I fit your description of omnipotence.
Yep. All hail Sam.
I mean, alternatively, you can just say my hair fits. So my hair is omnipotent.
Well, but I don't think you. So I guess if we don't want to go down this rabbit hole, that's fine. Just let me know.
You guys can talk about whatever you want.
I got my parachute on. We're already there.
All right. So
rope in hand, baby.
Sam,
I'm cleaning this room. This is entertaining.
So for the record, Sam, I'd like to say I'm more playing devil's advocate than advocating a position here, just for conversation's sake. But how are you defining nature then? Because there are people that can lift more than you, right? So it's not in your.
Sure, and that's in their nature.
Weightlifting is in your nature. You can't do that to a certain extent. So.
Sure. So the nature of something, as you'll typically get it defined in order to explain the concept of a deity. We do have an echo. I'm wondering if it's from Will's or Swede's side, maybe.
Damn it, Will.
It's not me.
Aha. Damn it, Randy. I don't know. I don't know where to go.
I don't know. I'm not sure who it is. So
nope. Not me.
In order to define your nature and have it describe in order to define a god's nature, you're going to have to say, well, what are its attributes? Well, if the attribute of a deity is that it is omnibenevolent and ergo cannot lie, then it is just that its personality does not allow for it lying. Therefore, anything that is outside of my personality to do, I will not do. But that's outside of my nature, so that's fine. So I can do anything in my nature. And so therefore, the same constraint would apply to physical things as well. That take my hair, for example. My hair can do everything in its nature. It can grow, it can be cut, it can change color. Those are all things in its nature to do.
Yes.
Well, your hair can't change its color, I guess, outside of losing the filament, but like it can't, it doesn't change color and loses color. But sure, whatever.
Its color can be.
It can be dyed.
Sure, yeah. I just can't be. I guess that's pedantic. Sorry.
Mine's gone from black to gray. My hair color's changed.
I got like 4 shades right now, man. I got like white, gray, blonde, light brown.
I do. See, I do when I don't have my hair dyed. Actually, have a few gray hairs.
That's terrible.
Actually, tons of mice. I was also wondering the same thing about Swede's background. I think he's got that same light back there, so either he moved the light or he has just switched his position a little bit. I'm not sure. I meant to ask him and I forgot. We'll bug him when he gets back.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah, you can redefine omnipotence such that like you have a very powerful entity, but at that point you're better off not saying omnipotent and just saying sufficiently powerful.
I've heard sufficiently powerful before, yeah. All right,
and
so
I'll take that. It just removes an omni trait.
Sure. So do you think that calling yourself omnipotent equates you to a Christian's version of omnipotence? Is that like a way to discredit the omnipotence argument? Or, as you said, are you just being cheeky?
A little bit of both. I've used it before to demonstrate the absurdity in their definition.
Okay.
But I will tend to go with more, because if they hold to omnipotence, they will usually also hold to omniscience, at which point I just use the previous logical argument for the interpretation argument. And so I'll typically stick to something a bit more akin to that. But if we're just talking about omnipotence as a concept, I'll quite happily do that. And I actually have a lot of people who I interact with don't particularly like that I can grant everything in the Kalam and come out with not even deism.
Okay.
Because all you do is you take the Greek concept of chaos, which was not a god, and therefore, if this holds water isn't deism, you say it's an agent, but its actions are what we call truly stochastic, meaning that it causes truly random events, but exists. And if it causes truly random events and isn't a god, that can functionally explain the origin of the universe.
True events on this guy.
The Kalam only gets into determinism. That's it. Cause and effect. That's all the Kalam does.
You can argue it gets you to some sort of deism with an additional step at the end some people add.
But the Kalam by itself doesn't do that.
The original Kalam by itself doesn't, but there's several different arguments by the name of the Kalam.
I mean, yeah, you have to go full William Lane Craig to get there, and you never want to go full William Lane Craig.
Oh, I find it really funny. I've had both Christians and atheists get bothered about this when I say this. I have the exact same criticism of William Lane Craig that I do of Aaron Ra. And that's that they both sometimes get out of their lane, and that's when their stuff starts to break down a bit.
Yeah, like there was a time when Aaron Ra, and I emailed him about this, and he sent back a pretty terse email that I was, whatever. But when he was running for, Texas State, being a Texas State representative or whatever, he had made a political ad. And one of my pet peeves is politicians that say so-and-so is, or so-and-so party is cutting XYZ. When in actuality, all they are is slowing next year's growth of the spending in that area. So instead of spending 3% more, they're only going to spend 2% more. But when you think of cutting, you think of spending less than you are this year. So it's a disingenuous
cutting the increase.
You're saying in that, because he was like, "Oh, the Republicans are cutting spending in education," and I sent him a graph that showed how much the Republican legislature has increased spending in education every year. All they did was just slow it down a little bit because it was the exponential curve was getting a little bit out of whack. So, and he just unloaded like, "Shut up," like, fine.
I understand why he would do that, because that's the language everyone uses, and so it's kind of structurally what people expect, making him more likely.
Even the layperson doesn't take it that way. If I were to go out and ask the average voter, what does a politician mean when they say they're going to cut spending? They're going to spend less than last year. They literally
what I mean is,
as a professional layman flag shagger, I agree on that.
My comment was that a lot of the time, if you don't use the same type of rhetoric as everyone else, you're more likely to get pushed to the side. As far as I've been able to kind of tell, I've not checked statistics on it, but every kind of person who I've been, their thing is quite good, everyone else has dismissed them out of hand because they don't use the same terms and the same rhetoric.
It's still in my world, it's still disingenuous. You're trying.
Absolutely, I agree.
You're playing this fear game of, they're going to spend less on education, when no, they're not. So it's always about stoking fear in some group to make them act in a certain way, and it just annoys the hell out of me.
I really am bugged. So I will cut the rant short and just say we need to change the voting system.
To go back to Swede's comment, repeat yourself if you must. I'm sorry if I missed it. It's not cutting the budget if they're spending less next year. Is that what you said?
Politicians will say, "My opponent plans to cut spending in XYZ area next year."
Yes.
And what they mean is, what they actually mean
is, practical,
instead of a 3% growth in spending, which is the plan in the budget, they're only going to spend 2% more.
Yes.
Rather than 100% of this year and only spending 98% of what you did last year.
So it's cutting the increase instead of cutting the amount.
So it's cutting the growth.
So it
rather
is
than actually cutting the spending itself.
So it is cutting, just not the way that you would perceive it to be.
It sounds in such a way that the average voter takes it as they're going to spend less next year than they are this year.
Yeah. Okay. So while
it's just the percentage of growth that they're slowing.
They're cutting the growth, not cutting the spending.
So they're not lying, but they're misinforming.
That's why I say they're not lying. I say it's disingenuous.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I would also use the term deceptive, as well as disingenuous, depending. But yes.
Yeah.
Just say politician.
But it all it does is creates fear in people that, oh my gosh, XYZ area is important, and this other person's gonna cut spending, and it makes people act on fear. And
gestures vaguely lies on buses. Brexit.
Yeah. And Brexit is a perfect example of lies based in fear of what people were told, because all you see now is, well, I was told it wasn't going to be like this,
right?
And people were like, the Remainers told you about this.
We literally laid all of this shit out for you.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I have to go at 8:20 my time. So in about 20
what
minutes.
time is it now?
But you guys can talk in the background after I end the stream. That's fine.
No worries.
I'm gonna go right now.
No worries, Randy.
So tomorrow I got a live show. Tomorrow afternoon, come see it live with the Harmonica Man. Join in, talk about musical crap. All right, I'll see y'all later. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Randy.
See you later, Randy. And Ox, I'm improving this room, and if you ever wonder, does he have any more flags? Yes, I do. When I say I'm a professional flag shagger, I'm not messing around.
And to answer Tons of Mice's question from a while ago, no, this is the same room. I have just I got a dual monitor arm thing to to put my monitors up higher, which allowed me to take my new webcam and actually just put it over here on my desk. So it just is at a different angle.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
My running medals are still right here.
Cool.
Nice.
Excellent.
But yeah, my webcam is so much better that it actually looks like a different room.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fair enough. See, I've not actually set this properly back up yet, but when I do, how's Mike?
I love upgrades. Upgrades are awesome.
Yeah, when my actual computer parts actually show up, I can't wait to put my new computer together.
Yeah.
You guys are so silly.
It's such a nerd.
Ox said that it looks like a porno on the bottom screen behind you, Will.
Oh, it's an old Bruce Lee movie, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He said it looked like a porno.
But
Ox, you think everything looks like a porno. That's what it is.
It's Fist of Fear, Fist of Death. It's a really bad movie. Like, they must have just given him like a suitcase full of money. It's
Probably
a
did.
really bad movie. But I gotta say, all the movies that I bought from the Walmart $5 bin have yet to let me down because I love terrible kung fu movies. I bought this movie probably like 15 years ago. And you know, it's sat in a box somewhere.
So this is another one of those situations where you probably have films older than me.
Yes, because I collect VHSs. So yeah,
my little siblings think I'm lying about the fact that Blockbuster existed when I was a kid. They think I'm lying about that because they've never seen a Blockbuster.
That was like the thing to do. I knew it was gonna be a lit Friday night if you know my pops was like, "Hey, get in the car, let's go to Blockbuster." I knew it was on. I knew it was.
It was on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah, good memories. Good memories.
Man, it was like a thing. It was like an outing. The whole family, you go to Blockbuster or Family Video, depending on where you lived and which one was closer and cheaper at the time. And you know, everybody talks about it, and you get 2 or 3 movies, and you're good for the weekend. You know,
we still have Family Video
fun.
here in Omaha.
What's that?
We still have a Family Video here in Omaha, and it actually does really well because they have a pizza place inside, and they have like a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, and then they have last gen's consoles that you can rent out.
Oh, that's awesome!
So if you can't afford an Xbox, you can go in there or if you just want to try an Xbox for like 5 straight days, you can go in there and for like $25 have an Xbox for a couple days and see if you like it or not.
The Blockbuster where I lived, first of all, we had a Family Video where I used to live in Ohio, and there was a Blockbuster up the road, and both of them did that. You could rent out shit for like 5 days or whatever, 7 days, whatever it was. Yeah, that's good shit. And Family Video has a lot of game stuff. Like a lot of games to rent.
When the Blockbuster,
that's why they're so popular.
When the Blockbuster, I'm such a vulture. When the Blockbuster in this town went out of business, man, we bought racks off the shelf. I bought a Star Trek poster. I bought all kinds of stuff off of Blockbuster. I still have them in the Blockbuster boxes. I bought I think it's like season 2 and 3 of Battlestar Galactica. And they were in good condition for something that people were renting, you know?
Right.
I bought a bunch of movies when Blockbuster went out of business.
This might seem
that was
slightly...
a good thing about DVDs and, you know, Blu-ray. You can pull them out and look at them, and if they're not scratched, you know it's good. Like VHS, you don't really know if that tape's going to play.
or if it got taped over.
That's a Jet Li movie. That's a Jet Li movie, and that's what is the movie called? Where it's constantly offing the alternate universe version of himself. Oh, I gotta look it up.
I don't know, but I love Jet Li. He's great.
Oh, so at the end of the movie, and the movie's so old. Spoiler: I'm about to give it away. Basically, there's an evil version offing every version that they fight. They go to every alternate reality and off the version of himself, and the evil version basically gets trapped in a world which is like a hell where people are just fighting, but it's a heaven for this person because they're such a sociopath.
Right, they want to fight all the time.
Yeah, so the movie ends with them like smiling and they're just scrapping on the top of a tower, beating the crap out of everybody. But it's like anybody else would be like, F this place. This place is awful.
No, there actually is a Bruce Lee movie where he has to fight a boss on every floor. I know what he's talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
Fair enough.
And I don't know. Is the last one? The last boss isn't Chuck Norris.
Are you talking about the one with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Because they're in the same movie, Chuck Norris and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yep. Yeah, because he was actually a martial artist.
Oh, I read a bunch of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Long ass legs and arms, dude. He could get some people.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar read a bunch. He wrote a bunch of books about his life, and he talks about Bruce Lee changed his life. He changed his entire way of life when he started hanging out with Bruce Lee.
Yep, Kareem actually is from New York, and he was one hell of a played for Rice High School, Christian. You know, the Catholic school system in New York is one hell of a school system. And after he came out of there and converted and everything, he definitely had some attitude issues when he was at UCLA. Put it that way.
He's not okay. So I want to tell you, he's not on the list still to this day. He's not someone you just walk up to. Magic Johnson, you can walk up to him and shake his hand. Magic Johnson would talk to you, would totally have a conversation.
Larry Bird will punch you in the face if you walk up to him.
So I worked at a crummy, I can't believe I'm telling this story. I worked at a crummy sandwich shop across from CBS Studios in LA. And I'm cleaning up. There's no one in there. And I grabbed a sandwich wrapper on the floor. I crumpled it up and I shot it and I missed the trash can. And I hear this, "Oh man, you got to make that." It was James Worthy. And then I had to make a sandwich for him after he told me I had a crappy shot. No, he was awesome. James Worthy was an awesome guy. But
dude, that's something I do all the time. I played basketball in high school. And so all the time I'll wait till I'm away from the trash can to shoot something. And I do it all the time. And I get crazy shots. I'll do hook shots and shit. And Richard and I will be working together, and I was pulling these screws out of the floor because we had to get to the gas pipes and shit. And so we're throwing them in a bucket, and so I kept getting further away from the bucket, and I kept throwing the screw, pull it out of the floor, throw the screw, pull it out of the floor, and then further I just kept making it. And he was like, "Nah, man, that's bullshit." And it was to the point where because the dining room kitchen area is very long and wide. And it got to the point where it was 3/4 of the way down. It was 15, 16 feet away from me, and I was still hitting it with the nails. And then I started missing when I got all the way to the end. And he's like, "Oh,
so
it
close."
was funny though. I was still boop, boop. Guess you just never lose it.
Now see, whenever because we've been talking about older films and stuff. Whenever I think about older films, and I know it's not that old, relatively speaking, but the Dungeons and Dragons movie just feels like it was probably made a lot earlier than I know it actually was.
Are you talking about the one with Marlon? Is that the one with Marlon Wayans?
That is. I don't know. I know Jeremy Irons is the big bad guy, and that is all I can remember, which isn't super helpful given it's Jeremy Irons.
Okay, because he was in some bad movies, so we might be talking about the same movie. The 2000 film.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, so when I was a kid, I was obsessed with G.I. Joe. And when they came out with the first G.I. Joe movie, I was offended. So I completely understand what you're saying.
As someone who basically grew up playing D&D, once my mum met my stepdad, I grew up playing D&D. And so then I saw that film and I was just like, what the fuck?
I've never seen it.
Marlon Wayans is in the movie.
Is it bad that I don't know who that is?
Well, actually, they used to make relevant comedy in the late 80s and early 90s. His brother, Keenen Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans, they're, but, you know, certain...
The 90s parodies that they made were terrible. The Wayans did. Like,
they apologized.
Movie.
Oh yeah, they apologized to Oprah for clowning her. So, and Oprah was like, "No, you guys hurt me. I was hurting, and you guys were making fun of me every week. You should go watch it because Kim Wayans, she found like this really weird woo spiritual. Like she came on wearing like a sundress and like, so she was like groveling to Oprah. She's like, I'm such a different person. You want to know why? Because they're all millionaires. They have more money than the Pope. Of course they don't. Of course they don't care anymore. You know,
it's so weird to me.
Of course she's all woo now.
I have just seen this when I opened up Twitter, and I feel the need to share it with you guys now. If a vampire wears an eye patch with a mirror on the inside, they can see behind themselves at all times.
Ooh, that's smart.
If you're a vampire, you can never go to Africa.
Because they bless the rains.
Yep, they bless the rains down in Africa.
Damn
Swede, I'm gonna swear to God.
Now all night long now.
That was horrible. That was like a harmonica man joke right there. That was a dad joke, totally. Because they bless the rains down
That's without the delay, though, so I got it.
Wow. All right. So, does anybody have anything coming up?
On Tuesday, barring anything crazy, I think I'm going to be on Godless Granny's stream.
What's she doing on Tuesday?
She's going to be talking about Derek Chauvin case and everything.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try not to say the F word like 50 times.
Well, she won't care if you cuss, but I would keep it to a minimum out of respect.
I'm writing a script because it's so emotional. I'm gonna literally stick to the script. I'm literally writing what I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna present it as a statement, but like it's heated, and I'm so biased. It's not even funny, you know.
I'm gonna tell you. I know how I know that we all come from the African region, because when black people get shit on, I get pissed off. So there must be some black in me. Like I get mad. I get fucking mad.
Mitochondrial DNA. We're all.
I mean, I get riled. Fuck, I get riled up. I get riled up worse over that than most things. Most things I could just.
I'm always for the underdog. So I don't like people getting shot. Like if you want to bust it down to humanize, let's stop shooting Americans. How about let's start there. If you're born here, don't shoot. Yeah. Don't shoot.
Yeah, let's not shoot. Yeah, but then they're gonna say, "Well, you weren't born here. I don't know. You might be an immigrant."
Okay, so rule number 2: don't shoot anyone.
Let's just not shoot each other.
Don't shoot people.
No. How about this? How about we stop shooting to kill? How about that?
Your life shouldn't be a danger when you get stopped for a traffic stop.
Shoot somebody in the fucking leg so they have a chance to live. So if they're not in the fault, then they're not fucking dead.
And like that, and like those jokes I told about, like I drive like an idiot. So I know when I get pulled over, it's not because of my race. It's because I got caught driving like a complete moron.
Also, teach cops to learn the difference between a taser and a gun.
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous.
Even one that's been on the force for 26 years.
26 not to set off something that'll.
When Dante was born, that lady had been on the force already for 6 years. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And so it's definitely a heated conversation in a loaded subject. Yeah. So I'm going to try to stay away from because I'm an emotional person. So I'm going to try to go full Spock.
I'm glad you told us. Well, we didn't notice.
I'm going to separate myself from it because there's things that need to be said, and we all have emotions. We all know that so I'm going to try not to spout cliches.
Us have opinions.
On that note,
Never.
Swede, what do you have coming up? Anything?
Yeah, I'm putting together show notes for a show on reparations and how and why writing a check actually would be bad for the community, and ways to invest in the communities, minority communities, rather than actually just writing checks. Because if you write a bunch of checks, you're just going to devalue the money that you just gave everybody.
Right. Well, especially because the money
purpose. So
Agreed.
Yeah, but yeah, it's what are some programs we can install like that Fox News will lose their head over, but will actually be good.
Right. So I like it already. Sam, what do you got coming up?
So on Wednesday at 5 Central Time, me, Will, and Maddie have episode 4 of Pub Religion coming out on my channel. Why trying to convert someone is a dick move.
I like it.
And then at some point this month, I have a video on pronouns coming out. Because I have the script written and I was going to record it like 2 months ago, but you know. And besides that, I have got my Twitter, I've got an Instagram, fuck knows if I'll do anything with that. I have been around on my different social medias where I have links and stuff, and I've changed it to a link tree thing so that all my links are together.
Oh, awesome.
So that's a thing.
I have an Instagram. You should go sub to Godless Sewing. Yeah. I haven't been there in like 8 months.
Follow Godless Sewing on Twitter and you'll see nothing.
I don't want to say too early on anything, but we do have a guest penciled in.
We do. And I will shut my big fat mouth. It's an amazing guest.
So, on that note, because I have to go, thank you everybody in the chat for coming. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you, Will, as usual. You're my wingman, so I appreciate you. Sam, thank you for coming in. You know, I appreciate you. You are brilliant, and I love talking to you. Pretty funny at most times too. And Sweet, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate that too. So
and helping you figure out your headphones.
Yeah. He kept saying, say something. What's wrong? My headphones aren't working. So yeah, thank you, Sweet. And I appreciate you coming back. So everybody take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and have some peace in your life.